Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Tweak.Test.Repeat. I'm Mr. Umer, and I'm here to do an episode on an update on my DIY wireless broadcast setup. Now, in my previous video, I went over how I put together basically a wireless Go transmitter and receiver, and I made some modifications since then to help enhance the sound. Now, as you can see on the pictures on my left here, I have the Rode wireless receiver connected to my PC through the input panel. You'll notice that the TRS connection is going into the audio input. One thing you'll also notice is that there's a USB plug kind of traveling along the side of my desktop PC back into my USB port. Now, one thing you'll notice is that the Rode, you can go completely wireless and you don't have to have any wires, obviously. But by running this wireless Go, I noticed that it lasts around 6 to 7 hours on a charge. So I opted to just go ahead and plug it in directly so that I have pretty much a continuous supply of energy in there. If I wanted to, I could go back to the battery, but I figured why not just plug it in since it already has a plug going into the computer as well. Now, as the next picture is the mic, and that's also battery operated. I noticed that if I run it longer than 6 or 7 hours, it will pretty much just turn off. So I made a modification to the mic wind muffler where I can plug in the USB port. It's on the side of the Rode wand, and that helps me keep the charge continuous. One modification you'll also notice is that on the mic stand, I attached basically a audio noise echo shield. Now, this shield is composed of basically a material to absorb some of the sound. It's basically foam. It also has a metal housing on the back of the shield where it helps reflect some of the sound that might go into the mic. So this setup, I would say, is not really needed because I have a noise canceling software, and I'll get into that more later. But it does help enhance the audio somewhat because I do have fans that are running on my PC that I notice that my mic is very sensitive. It could pick it up, especially if I increase the gain on the mic or boost it up. And this shield does help eliminate some of that noise. Now, one thing I was trying to eliminate is echo because I'm trying to run a setup where it's all hands-free and wireless, and I don't want to have a headset on. If I play some music in the background or if I have a call where there's someone's voice, some of that echo will travel from the speaker that's behind me into this mic. So even though I have my echo cancellation turned on my software, this is still a problem. So I'll go into a little bit later how I deal with that. One thing you'll also notice is that on my right, I'm showing you the Realtek audio console. Now that has built-in software for the microphone. If I select the microphone option here, you notice that it has noise suppression and something called AEC, acoustic echo cancellation. So the noise suppression, that's going to help with the wind noise or keyboard clacking. Now, that's kind of what this shield is supposed to do. So this software, you can do it without having the shield basically. And I noticed some slight difference when I have the shield on, so it is helping. The acoustic echo cancellation, that's supposed to help prevent some of the noise coming from basically your speakers or from your headphones. And I did notice that having that on, it does reduce it a little bit, but I still have some echo that goes into the microphone if I'm going to play that. Now that gets into, well, how do I deal with that if I want to have this kind of setup? Number one, the best way is basically to put on a headset. Or if you have like a Beats Audio or, like an iPhone type earbuds or a Samsung, those do well because the sound's going to go directly in your ear and you're not giving it a chance to bounce off any walls or any surfaces. Versus if I run my speaker that I have back there, the wireless Bose, then you have a chance of the echo going back into the mic. So to deal with that, I'm using another software here called Mic Switch. So it's very similar to what you would find on the Discord software. That's very popular. But on Discord, you have push to talk. So basically, what the push to talk is you hold down the button, you talk, and then you release it and it mutes the mic. Now on Mic Switch, it's different. Basically, I program a hotkey, so when I press it, it's going to turn off the mic. So that's immediately going to cut out any noise that's being played if I decide to play a video where the audio can go travel right into the mic. So I find that Mic Switch is a pretty good, decent software. It even has a on-screen display in OSD that it will tell you whether the mic is on or off. It'll show a picture of a mic with an X through it. And it also has some audible type sounds for when you hit the hotkey, it will chime or it'll give a button beep and it'll show an X. And that also happens in the taskbar. If you see below here, I have a picture of a mic. If I hit the mute button, you'll notice that it will cross out. So if I unmute it, it goes away. Obviously, if the mic is quick enough to pick up the audible sound, it might travel through into the mic. So I've disabled the sound. Another thing I have on the screen is the NVIDIA broadcast. So I feel like that does a pretty good job of doing noise suppression, eliminating fan noise or any click clacking. It's using my graphics processing unit, artificial intelligence, to remove some of the echo and the noise. So that does a pretty good job. I don't really need this sound shield, but it does help. I also have the Windows 10 basically configuration setting. You'll see for my microphone, I have my microphone turned up all the way, the volume to 100, but the mic boost gain is turned down. So I've noticed that if I use just my straight audio from my sound card without using the NVIDIA broadcast, there's a little bit of noise when it's boosted, when the gain's turned up. But for the most part, if I turn that down, I'm not going to have that issue. Obviously, if I'm using the NVIDIA broadcast with the noise suppression, even if I turn up that boost, it's going to filter it out pretty good. So basically, this is the setup I have. I think it does a pretty good job. The sound is very clear. I'm trying to get it close to studio sound, which, obviously if I had a real studio with some sound deadening or some foam on the walls, it could probably help with the acoustics, or if I had some material that's really good at preventing that sound from echoing or bouncing around, causing that reverb or that echo. But this is continually evolving. You'll notice that my setup basically is a modification of the tripod and the audio shield. And I had to do a lot of modding so that I have the right size and height so that basically I can have a good setup. And I'll show you on the screen here. If I turn it around, you can see kind of the back of it. But if I turn it around, here's what it looks like. So that's basically my DIY setup. I can put it right in front of me here. One thing you'll notice or that I know, is that it kind of gets in the way of the keyboard. But obviously, if I'm on a Teams meeting, I might have to have my keyboard when I'm presenting. So I can always move this mic to the side. I'm not really looking for a direct line of sight between my mouth and the microphone like I have here, but it's really nice to have it directly in front of you. Even though this mic is omnidirectional, it'll pick up the noise. So if I turn it to the side of me or position it to the side, I'll have a good audio from my voice into the mic. But I prefer it in front of me because I've compared the audio difference. I noticed that having it directly in front of me still gives a more clear sound. So that's my setup. I might do another video on some more mods if I decide to in the future. Obviously, if you like this video, please like and subscribe and check the description for what parts I use for my mod. And feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. So I'll see you next time in the next video. Thank you.